Hey everybody, this is Greg Rice. We're in downtown Providence. We're with the general manager of CIC New England, Stacey Messier.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too. And I actually met, or heard of rather, Stacey online, Providence Business News, the 5 questions. Mark LaRocque, however you pronounce his name. I love Mark. And I saw this business model that I've heard about but not known locally.
Okay.
So tell us about CIC. First, what does that stand for?
Okay, so CIC stands for the Cambridge Innovation Center.
Okay.
We started back in 1999 in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And since then, we've grown out to 8 cities all around the world. We're in a number of places in the US, but then we're also in Rotterdam, Tokyo, and Warsaw globally.
And how did you get started?
Oh, goodness. I mean, our CEO was, like a lot of entrepreneurs, starting to solve a totally different problem.
Yeah.
And in the end, he's like, where can I work? Where is the place that I can actually convene and bring people together to solve these problems? And the CIC co-working model was born.
And when did you jump on board?
So I've been with CIC since 2022.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what were you doing before that?
I was working primarily in software.
Interesting.
So much more so on the customer experience side of things, which when you think of innovation and hospitality and sort of like ecosystem development, there's a lot of what my squiggly line career sort of led me here from.
And from Connecticut originally?
Yes, that's correct.
Like me as well. Cool. And we came in and I saw it said the Snake Den. And then it said Go Island. These were pods with glass doors, and people were talking. You couldn't hear them, and they had their computers. So tell us about some of those cool features and options that people have here.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So the Snake Den is one of our bookable phone booths. So if you think of an old-timey phone booth that's red with, just the phone inside, or we go back to the 80s when you'd actually use coins to make a call while you're at the mall, need your mom to pick you up, let's not age ourselves.
Or not pick you up.
Exactly. Ooh, good call. I just stay over with
I'm
friends.
just gonna stay.
I'm just gonna be here. Okay,
Yep.
bye. So essentially we have phone booths scattered throughout our properties so that people can hop out and essentially have it as like a solo use conference room. We like our conference rooms, like the one we're in right now, to make sure that we've got at least 2 people in there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, sometimes people can claim it as their individual desk for the day, and that's kind of a no-no in our world. So in terms of the options that we have inside of all CICs, we've got co-working desks, which are essentially like a library-style drop-in area that you can plunk your stuff down, you can leave your monitor. Every coworker gets a cubby that you can leave whatever items matter to you, so like your favorite keyboard, your favorite mouse, whatever you might need in order to get work done for the day. And then it's first come, first served. There's no hotel booking system or anything like that. It's very flexible. So that's our first option. Then we have dedicated desks where you can permanently leave all of your stuff on that desk.
More traditional.
Exactly, but you're still in a shared room. So you're in a collective space that's communal that essentially brings these dedicated desk product folks together. And then our last is dedicated offices, right? So individual offices as small as 54 square feet, which are what we call our UNOs, so like a 1-person office.
It's like the size of this desk, 5 by 10.
Just enough room for you, yourself, and, some natural light, of course,
A
to get in there.
bag maybe, or tissue box.
You'd be surprised, though. In Providence, our number 1 commodity is UNOs.
Wow.
Our 4th floor that has the largest selection of those kind of offices is almost always sold out. We've always got a waiting list.
Wow.
Rhode Islanders were very much post-pandemic, like, get me out of my house.
Yep.
Give me an option. I need to be here. I need my own space
Yep.
that I can control. But then we also have offices that are, as large as 30 plus people. So
Just for that company.
just for any company.
Oh, for any company.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So office spaces are all based on availability. What do we have to offer? But primarily our terms are 30 days.
Interesting.
So a big part of our business model is grounded in the flexibility of allowing people to scale up as fast as they want or scale down as fast as they want. You can imagine we are very seasonal here in the state of Rhode Island. We love us some beach time. Some people have small offices and may pause or drop down to co-working because they know they're going to be traveling for many months. If they're existing co-workers, they can actually pause their membership for a given period of time.
Pause.
Yeah, exactly. So we're very much grounded in flexibility and trying to meet people where they are.
Wow. So what do you feel like is your biggest weakness? Sounds like you've covered the whole thing. We all have weakness. What do you think is something that you guys have been trying to get at, or something that hasn't clicked all the way, or maybe something that people haven't heard about that is available to them?
That's a great
what's your
question.
soft underbelly?
We're constantly trying to get lab space.
Lab space.
Yeah. So we have an incredible set of labs in our Philadelphia location. And we do a really wonderful job at creating essentially like centralized services and equipment so that a shared wet lab means that you can come here, be a life science entrepreneur yourself. In Philly, we actually have a vending machine for cell cultures. So the technology is incredible, but then also that ability to know that when you purchase a bench in a shared wet lab space or even in a dedicated lab space, you actually already have most of the equipment you're going to need that's already there. So a lot of what we've been talking about, particularly in the state of Rhode Island, we have this new life science hub that the state has chosen to invest about $45 million in.
Right next door.
Exactly. So the public health lab is being built behind us. And then we're talking with folks to figure out like how might we at CIC be able to help bring a open to the public to rent lab space, shared wet lab offering here in Providence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's your vacancy right now?
Oh, well, our vacancy is at about 20%. We're 80% full. Our model is typically to cap out at 90 because we want to leave that 10% for, again, that flexibility, and that gives people just enough room that if they have had their sights on a certain office or if they know that their team is going to be expanding, we have the availability and the options for them to be able to do that.
And we all need what on a daily basis? Fuel. And we just walked by a beautiful cafe, we could call it, kitchen. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in each of our floors at CIC, and that's true around the world, we have dedicated kitchens for our members. In there, we stock snacks, coffee, the standards of, your milks, your juices, some cold refrigerated beverage options, and even, yogurts, cheeses, things like that. And then we also have private fridges for all of us that bring our lunches to work and need a place to store that. Don't need a fridge in your office. And then, our staff are incredible, and our community operations team essentially handles the kitchens. So we do everything from turning over dishwashers to making sure that the snacks are stocked well and making sure that those coffee machines are running every day.
What's for lunch today?
Ooh, for me, it's going to be a handmade scallion, bacon, cheddar biscuit with like a super green veggie burger.
Wow.
Yeah, I eat all of the things, so we're not discriminating on the vegetarian.
Vegan?
No, I eat all the things.
Okay.
So I love me a good veggie burger, but I also like bacon.
Yeah.
We got to bring the two worlds together.
Yeah. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's either pro meat or pro vegetable.
Yeah. Variety is the spice of life here.
100%. And also, we're talking wind, too.
Yes.
Tell us about your involvement with the wind industry.
Absolutely. Yeah, so our CIC Providence location is the nation's #1 location for offshore wind companies in the U.S.
Wow.
We have over 30 individual companies that essentially stretch across the supply chain that makes an offshore wind farm come to fruition. So we've got tier 1 developers, we've got people that specialize in geotechnological surveying, for example. We have other people that their name of the game is barges, logistics, you name it. But there are so many parts that have to come together in a system sort of fashion to make these offshore wind projects come to life. And in the US, as I'm sure your viewers know, this is a new industry for us. So we're learning a lot from our international counterparts. We've had the pleasure of welcoming so many different people from so many different countries. And we travel around, we talk to our offshore wind friends quite often. Yeah.
And how about businesses that wouldn't work well here? Is there any businesses that are just, they come in and you say, that's not going to be good, that's not a fit? Because we all have fits, right?
We definitely all have fits. I would say CIC at large is sort of like at the intersection. So if you think of it like a Venn diagram, so if circle number 1 is community and circle number 2 is innovation, we're in the center. And so if you're not interested in being a part of a very diverse community, and by that I mean, we have a lot of offshore wind companies, but we also have law firms, PR firms, we have solo entrepreneurs that are making life science improvements for insulin. Like it's unbelievable the amazing people that are in this one building. And then I'd also say what often ends up not being a fit is say like, think of your traditional office floor plate. If you're looking for like 5,000 square foot place that has 12 individual offices inside of it, it's probably not going to be with us. We have some suites that have interior small offices inside of those larger spaces, but ultimately we have over 22 conference rooms that we hope you'll take advantage of. Like we try and make it so that that individual office
like
need isn't necessary. But if you need that to perform your work, all right, maybe we're not for you.
Yeah, and I love that. I don't know if I'll grab that later. It says Stacey and Gregory, 11 to 12. And we're 20 minutes in, right? It's 11:20. We can end that now, and would somebody be able to pick up that extra 30 minutes maybe? Or if they're, I don't know, walk it by if there's an alert or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a dedicated portal where you can book rooms, you can connect with other CIC members, you can also take advantage. We've got so many companies that offer awesome discounts and opportunities. So all of that happens on our portal. But primarily, we use a company called Roomzilla. And right now we had a pre-booked booking, so I had to check in, otherwise it'll yell at me. And then if you walk by any of our conference rooms and the iPad is green, you can just tap it and book it right then, and it's a local reservation.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about leisure, fitness, relaxation? Are you catering to those needs? I'm sure you are.
Oh yeah, okay, great question. So we have an incredible partner with the hotel next door. The hotel next door is the Aloft downtown Providence. They have recognized that they have hotel rooms without desks, but they also have a gym. They have 2 14-person conference rooms, but they don't necessarily have a large event venue. So we work together to sort of fill in each other's gaps. We have showers in the building, but we don't have a gym. CIC members can actually use the Aloft Hotel gym for free. In terms of taking advantage of leisure activities and that sort of thing, we end up crafting our own community events here. So we do a monthly community breakfast. Depending on what holiday is happening, what's the theme of the month, we always have some sort of happy hour and food gathering happening. But then also, our staff have run things like pasta making workshops. We've done terrarium workshops. We also bring people and share the newsletter for what's happening in our local neighborhood. So Aloft, in the summer in particular, will do dog-friendly days. So their hotel allows dogs, but unfortunately, because we are built for science here, we are not allowed to have dogs in the building. But you can bring your dog and go have yappy hour next door.
Yappy hour?
Exactly.
Wow. You have it all thought about, I think. How about time? Is there a closing, opening time? Can people come at all times?
Yeah, exactly.
24 hours?
24/7.
Wow.
So as long as you've got your key card or your fob on you, you have 24/7 access to your office.
Wow.
Yep.
It's not often that I'm stumped, but I think you've covered it all.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. This was awesome, Greg.
Yeah, I think this is filling a void and a need. And you're hitting, like you said, the ascension of a company, the descension, the pause, and also the social component. Like, I remember being in offices as a kid, and it's like the same old 10 people every day, that humdrum routine.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's like you got, how many people could there be at peak time?
I mean,
Hundreds?
We see 150 to 200 on average every day.
All different backgrounds, experiences, cultures.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is the most important, the diversity.
Right.
So that's just another benefit. Anything else that you want to add?
Something we talked about actually while we were setting up was what are some of the trends that we're seeing in the office market at large? And so a large portion of the newer clients that we're actually seeing is hybrid teams. So you can imagine post-pandemic, right? All the companies are trying to figure out, what does it mean now? What is work now? If we have a team that sort of rotates and comes through on certain days of the office, but not every single employee is in at the same time, do we really need that gigantic space? Do we actually need something smaller that gives us that flexibility to have our teams come in and out? So for example, we have a company that just moved in who essentially purchased they're renting an office that's about a 10-person office space, but they have maybe 18 people that will rotate through as they come in, use the space. And again, they've got access to all 3 floors. They can be flexible and move throughout the different conference rooms, the phone booths, as well as that dedicated office space. So we're seeing a lot more of a catering and a welcoming of people that are trying to figure out like something that's low risk. So those shorter terms are huge. But then also something that gives you all of the amenities that you don't have to worry about. We can take care of all of that stuff, even down to the mail services. You need an address, right? All of those things that perhaps you as an employer had to handle on your own, we're happy to welcome you in and help you just get started. Very turnkey.
How about if I'm at my desk, do you have somebody that'll do a massage on my neck?
Oh, that's a great question. We do actually have we have an in-house massage therapist that's here on very specific days during the month. I think she's here every other Wednesday.
Is there a room or
there's a dedicated
studio?
Massage room.
Wow.
Exactly. So don't worry, you're not going to be laying out on this conference table.
I would do it.
I know. I figured. I think we're like, please help me relax.
Just help me relax.
Help me relax. But yeah, that's something we offer as well.
Wow.
Not for free.
Hey,
The rates
no.
are incredible.
No.
And just imagine you could come out of your office from that really annoying meeting that should have been an email and just go get a massage and reset.
How about people, are they bringing in their clients?
Absolutely.
I don't know, give me a business maybe that would be,
Oh.
but is it more just, we're all here working and there's no noise, like there's not going to be people yelling in the hallways or upset customers, or are people bringing in, hey, we're in this conference room, there's 3 people that don't have space here, but they're guests of mine.
Absolutely.
So that's possible too.
Right. We've got a dedicated concierge that's happy to welcome any guest that you bring in. And essentially, we just make sure that somebody from the hosting company can come downstairs and meet them.
Gotcha.
Bring them
Just
up.
so they're not roaming around.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you need a key card if you're going to try and roam around.
True.
So, but quite often we have a number of people that welcome in their guests. We have a public speaking coach that brings in his clients and works with them out of the space. We have a number of medical professionals that end up, doing consultations as like their first site inside of our space. And then we just have your classic business scenario, right? Where you and I are having a meeting and we have 3 other people we need to fold in. Happy to have them come to the space and we'll book a conference room and away we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
My final question is, favorite restaurant in Rhode Island?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have to say Tonka in South Kingstown.
Never heard of it.
Great Thai restaurant. Thai is my absolute favorite cuisine on the planet. I need that salty and that sweet at the same time with the acid of the lime. Oh, it's so good.
How do you spell that?
Tongka. They've got a sister restaurant, I think it's just called Tong Di, that's in Barrington. Both of them are excellent, but my favorite, because it's closer to my house, is in South County. Tongka. If you like Thai food, highly recommend it.
Well, my last name is Rice. So I have a little Asian flair in me. And if you have any questions, how do they get in touch?
Oh, easy. Providence@cic.com is the way to reach myself and my team, and we'd be happy to chat.
Could they do a tour?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually have a tour request form right on the website. So if you're interested and just curious and want to see what the building's all about, or you're interested in maybe seeing what the spaces look like, we're happy to have you.
So one person up to how many?
30 plus. Oh, one other thing that's probably worth clarifying too. Some people assume that because we're such integrated parts of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, we're only for startups, but that's not true. So whether you're a solo entrepreneur that's literally just getting started, or you're an enterprise level team and you want to co-locate in the same place in Providence, for example, we're happy to welcome you with open arms. There's no sort of pitch one way or the other. It's a full gradient of company stages, company ages, and even, again, whether it's co-locating or a lot of our offshore wind clients, actually, many of them, when we opened and they started to join us, but they're innovation teams. They're teams that are the project teams that are helping to get things off of the ground. So it's really like, who are the people that you need to bring together? And let's talk about space and see what's right for you.
Actually, I lied.
Okay.
There's one more question. My boss, Nick Dagnillo, he said, ask Stacey, what is the difference, similarities, advantages compared to WeWork?
Great question. Great question. So I would say the biggest difference between CIC and WeWork is that community engagement and the economic development partnership aspect. So CIC typically does not crop up in any city just because we've decided that the market looks good and we're gonna build it out. Much more so, you know. Much more so, we like to shimmy when there's an opportunity to be a catalyst for economic development.
Especially right here.
Exactly. So the part of Providence that we're in was the Jewelry District, and the Jewelry District Association will tell you it's still the Jewelry District. Historically, this is where all the costume jewelry was made for hundreds of years almost. But as Gina Raimondo saw the opportunity in this fledgling neighborhood, she looked to Cambridge and saw what our CEO had been able to create in Kendall Square and was like, how do we bring a Kendall Square here to Providence? And so it was a classic example of, through working in partnership with the I-195 Commission, the Commerce Department, a number of sort of like private and public partners as well, bringing together. This was a brand new building when it opened up in 2019, and we're not the only tenants in here as well. So it's us, it's Brown University. We've got 2 additional tenants on the first floor as well. One of them is actually a graduate from CIC. Connection actually started as a super small office and eventually outgrew the space, and now they're in their own dedicated lease, which is one of our success stories. Yeah.
And then the restaurant, which is now vacant.
Oh, the restaurant.
Bayberry Garden.
Yes.
Just left, right? Or
No. Bayberry Beer Hall was just sold to the Morans Group. Bayberry Garden downstairs has been thriving. Separate.
Gotcha. Because that's out there, and I think that's being not conveyed correctly in the media. I think people thought that was vacant, as I was.
Oh, no.
So that
it's
is
thriving.
Bustling.
Yes.
We're talking about the beer garden.
The beer garden, different location,
Gotcha.
different part of the city. Yep, exactly.
Cool.
If you're looking for upscale seafood and sort of like, how else would I describe Bayberry Garden? They have such a unique take on classic dishes. They know how to get really creative without pushing the boundaries of what people are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food is phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with Stacey. Any questions for me, put them in the comments field below, and I'll get right back to you. Once again, Greg Rice here in Providence with Stacey Messier.
Thanks a lot, Greg. This is
Thank you.
awesome.